Hi, Sandy Shellis from Environmental Coffee House today, and I'm sitting outside, and I'm going to tell you today, it's Clueless Moron Neighbor Day. Okay, they come from the city, they come to their property, and they friggin' have been the ones behind me have been shooting their freaking guns all morning. And it is loud and obnoxious, and then another freaking idiot up the road with the chainsaw. You can't get any rest here, and I'm kind of in a lousy mood, but I'm going to try to make my mood better with a little bit of my medicinal legal from New York State. I have a card. THC that helps me heal. And of course, oil, whatever the hell they mix in it. Because that's just the kind of a mood I'm in today. All right, guys. I'm starting out actually with something that is not from our page. It's from the Arctic sea ice page. Because among the other things that are going on, Siberia is hotter than Florida. The Arctic is melting at exponential rates, and everyone walks around with a fucking blindfold on, and I'm going to tell you the truth, I'm getting tired of it. I don't want everybody to walk around screaming the sky is falling, but I'm not going into this blindfolded. That's my thing of the day, and neither are you guys. So Torstein wrote today, methane is already escaping from the ESAS seabed in massive amounts, yet the volume of these releases is likely to pick up dramatically once sunshine and ocean heat are no longer spent melting local sea ice. If you think of the biosphere with all its millions of plant and animal species as Gaia or Earth, then it is obvious that she wants human cities to be flooded, industrialization to cease, and civilization to end already. For we have chosen a great many decades ago that we want this to be our path. We excelled and we collapsed. God. Politicians like Stoltenberg and Brundtland in Norway, NATO and the UN were mere prophets of the clueless, mindless continuation of growth without limits, or prophets of the massive collapse, and they may be known for posterity after the collapse. And she is not indifferent to when she wants these cities all over the world to be flooded. Now, this is not me. This is Torstein, but I'm channeling him from Greenland. And I see, Torstein, you've joined. She's not there. They need to flood ASAP so she can live. Our global industrial civilization can only be compared to the comets that wiped out almost the entire biosphere millions of years ago, and the Siberian traps and the methane. It needs to go, and it needs to go fast so that others can live. There will be a great dying of birds, trees, fish, insects, and humans as she heats up the planet to rid herself from organized humanity. But that dying is inevitable. It will happen sooner or later, because we are not stopping. The prophets of limitless growth have made sure of that. And when it has to happen within a decade or a century, and all these species and individuals, including humans, need to be flooded out, the advantages of an early flood are plenty. And so we should embrace the melting out of the Arctic and the wholesale rebuilding of the biosphere. With modern technology, we get to watch all this play out from a front row seat. Thank you, Torstein. And I see Nicholas Humphrey has joined us also. And Nicholas, you are amazing. And I am very happy, Nicholas, that you made it into Mother Jones. And I think the Washington Post, one of us, finally, one of us who has a voice, has made it and is saying the things that we all need to be saying. The changes have to be done much faster. Can we do them? I don't want to sit here and say that we're fucked. I'm just not that person. I am usually a very positive person. My mood today is shit. all the noise and all the idiots around me on the weekend just pisses me off. Then I found another, you hear it? And then I found another article. Now, this was from 2012. This one, oh my God, it was chilling. It was Common Dreams, and I'm going to do a little bit of that one. And then we're going to go to the page, because what's on the page and what people have been putting on the group page, it's just unbelievable. And, well, it's not unbelievable. We're doing it. I'm doing it. I am responsible for my little part of collapse. There is a huge carbon footprint in this house I'm trying to get rid of, but I'm just as responsible as all the other clueless morons, but I'm doing it too. So I'm sorry that this is the mood. I'm sorry, but you know what? Sometimes it has to happen and it has to come out. I'm healing from surgery, and there's a lot of noise, and I'm just, I don't know, I'm just in that mood. Plus, all you read, and all of you read it all with me. So this was from Common Dreams. And it was called oh God, I hope nobody's coming over. Nobody ever comes over, but watch when I do a live stream, they will. Okay, July 26, 2012, in the land of never was, the last desperate hours of climate chaos deniers and capitalist rah-rahs by Phil Rockstro. Now, a lot of us knew what was going on in 2012, but a lot of us did not wake up until 2015. And don't worry, it's okay. I'll take another hit, Lori. I'll be fine. I'm shaking because I'm in a mood. And sometimes when you're in this mood, some of the best work gets done. I know I'm a happy person generally, but these morons have been shooting for hours. And while we own firearms because my husband's a hunter, I know most of you hate it. I can't do anything to change it. That's not me, that's him. We don't fucking shoot where our neighbors are impacted for an hour and a half. But anyway, I digress. So the article, I'm going to go quickly. Often the world, forever unfolding, recombining, morphing, dying, and transforming, changes before the mind can grasp the implications of the ongoing alterations. This is the basis of nostalgia, for memory freezes the world like an insect encased in amber. Maturity dawns when you begin to look back at your life and long to be able to make amends for your blindness, because changing the past is impossible. It follows to strive to process a greater degree of self-awareness in the present. But this measure, we, the people of the United States, insulated in the internal present of our media, hologrammatic bubble, and in the thrall of perpetual and post-adolescent self-involvement, have some growing up to do. Circumstances change, people change, yet the people of the U.S. cling to an outmoded and ossified view of themselves and their nation and the world at large. But events keep moving right along. Now, this is 2018. Wow. This was written in 2012. So the author says, events keep moving right along. For example, given the degree of danger, and by danger, I mean global-wide species, including our own devastation, begot by industrial age and gendered climate chaos, we cannot afford to go about business as usual. As Dean always says, and there's somebody coming over here, my friends. The data is in. The oceans of the earth are dying. The very air is bedizened with seeds of fire. This is not a gray beard flapping in the meaningless breeze prophecy. This is verifiable, peer-reviewed science. The time for discussion as debate has passed, but we're still doing it in 2018, are we not? And now we have the worst administration in the United States ever, full of climate deniers. How did this happen? America, take a look out the window. Risk-taking in the passing scene, please. However, rather than doing so, we draw the curtains tight and we reach for the TV remote or a host of other insulating electronic devices that serve to circumvent self-examination. I got them all right here. We turn away in denial or rage in belligerent ignorance because we see the world moving on and we cannot control the situation, no matter how many predator drones we have scouring the globe. Increasingly, we feel uneasy. For we see events are changing fast. And as the momentum of events propel us through time, we are not yet ready to accept the fact, but know deep within us, that we cannot remain the people that we are. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6 years. 6 years. Have we changed? We've had solar energy, that we can now get, except the tariffs are going to make that worse. There are more wind farms. Of course, that takes mining. It is a huge change for us to change, and the young people are going to have to change if they're going to survive at all. And we have some articles on the page about that also. Okay. I don't want to do this too long, but the article was so good. Grasping the reality of one situation can be painful. Those in the U.S. still clinging to the tattered myths of late-stage capitalism would be hurt and angry. If they came to realize the amount of corporate state propaganda that they have internalized, that Bernie told us about, right? That has allowed for their exploitation by a ruthless, unaccountable few. Example, the fairy tale of the upward class migration. Yeah, the fairy tale. Ergo, the relentless, all-pervasive manner in which well-funded operatives of the right-wing wage class warfare, for example, the noxious canard asserting welfare layabouts, have sponged up your fair share of hard-wrought earnings. In this way, the bigot whispers of the capitalist state have created a mean-spirited, punitive cosmology that serves to emotionally displace anger. And these tropes of demagogic displacements are quite lucrative, and to its accomplished practitioners like Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and all of those other people that have brainwashed so many in the United States that are walking around clueless fucking morons walking around. Thank you, Hambone. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I have taken it, and it is mine as well. So the winners and losers mythos of capitalism renders people sick with shame, while its tendency towards class stratification promotes feelings of powerlessness and unfocused rage. My focus is focused. My rage is rage. But it's not going to make me not heal better, because 20 minutes from now, my girlfriends have just pulled in and life will be good again for a while. That's what we all have to do, right? Withal, they evidence the mindset of embittered slaves who have been told, and worse, insist that the corporatist militarist boot on their necks is better termed a liberty massage. They seethe with displaced projections on people that they perceive to be layabouts, when in fact, by these projections, they are displaying a type of envy. I could have written this myself. These perceived loafers, i.e. imaginary beings, who are seemingly as troublesome, yet as hard to locate as fairy folk, are getting away with something, while you have to slave away, toiling for the obscene profits of a privileged elite who think those below them are fools for swallowing whole the propaganda they promulgate about this imaginary miracle system known as free market capitalism, which never has worked and never will work as advertised, because it never has and never will exist. Moreover, given the reality of Democratic-Republican duopoly in place to protect the interest of the moneyed classes, we will not be able to vote our way out of this situation. Now, I didn't write it, and I still believe that we have to vote. We have to vote. Why not? What if we have to lose by voting? If we don't vote, we're not in anything to help. We're not in any way, shape, or form helping anything. You vote, at least you know you did some little bit of a thing by going down to vote, which is supposed to be our right in this gerrymandered and mobster society we live in. And these are my words. So this guy says, I know my assertion that one's vote is worse than meaningless. Caveat, it's a flat out It's flat out meaningful to those who rig the game by providing the system with the illusion of being legit. Now, see, I differ from him a little bit because in our small town and where we live in these small places, nothing goes wrong. We do not hurt. My friends are election inspectors. And really, it is not everywhere. And if you're not going to be in the system or help the system, then quit bitching about it. So, hope is the snake oil sold to suckers at the traveling medicine show, cheap carnival of this faux democratic republic. What the ruling elite fear is the audacity of hopelessness, because that is when citizens see through the illusions created by their exploiters and rise up and destiny and destroy the house of mirrors of the status quo. The last, best way that we as a nation can endure is to challenge social convention and political boilerplate, each and every calcified cliche and soul-defying platitude at all levels. Now, 2012, we tried. We have to keep trying. To give up the fight is to roll over and play dead already, even before the methane bursts get us. Take a new step. Uttering a new word is what people fear the most. Dostoevsky from Crime and Punishment. I'm not going to read the rest of it. It's on the group page. I put it there this morning. Love is stronger than death and harder than hell. Meister Eckhart. Quote. So I really liked it, but I do want to go through a little bit of what's been on our page, because between the lions eating the poachers, which a lot of people cheered, and I was surprised that we didn't get the usual, oh my God, those poachers are trying to feed their families. I don't care. They're dead. And if they can't feed their families, it's because either they're having too many kids or their countries have not figured out how to handle their population to make it so poachers have to go out and get rhino horns for the people that worship or use it in this, I say, faux medicine, because killing, I am so sick of it. I am telling you, I wish I could just change the way things are for my husband, stop being a hunter, I stop eating meat. It's a very slow transition. But I'm going to go on because we have an article also, Global Warming may be twice what climate models predict. This is from PHYS, .org, and this was from the 5th. And they said future global warming may eventually be twice as warm as projected by climate models, and sea levels may rise 6 meters or more if the world meets the 2°C target, according to an international team of researchers from 17 countries. So we're seeing this kind of thing all week. Record temperatures in Los Angeles, California. We had a week of record of hot weather, which I was waiting for the news people to say something. And what the news guy around here was doing was gloating about the records. And then, the July 4th holiday, while orangutans are being slaughtered, we're having hot dog eating contests so that the slob and pigs of this country could sit there and gorge themselves on factory farmed organ meat. And yes, Lori Root Riley's with us, and she talks about floods. And I'm sorry if that hurt what Torstein wrote. I know you live where you got flooded. I'm so sorry it happened to you, because you are a beautiful person, and I don't hate human beings. I don't like what they do. And I'm sorry. This is just the mood today. And I'm allowed. I'm not screaming at you all. I love you all. I really have love in my heart most of the time. And then the Washington Post, all-time temperature records set throughout Southern California, including Los Angeles. And then we have the New York Times with their, they have a climate page, and I don't think they're fake news. Environmental rules being rolled back under Donald Trump. Air pollution and emissions, 18. Drilling and extraction, 17. Infrastructure and planning, 12. Animals, 9. Toxic substances and safety, 7. Water pollution, 6. Plus other. So there's 76 Okay. And Marcia, my love, Marcia Quinn Noren, my love, my heart from California, is going to do some research on these numbers with me. It might be more, she says. I talk to her every single day. And I love a lot of you, but I love her today. I'm just shouting her out. And Lori Riley, I love you too. Everybody that's with me, you know? And that's why we're having a party. Even I wish I had enough money to bring you all here and make the carbon footprint even worse. I would. If I had it, I would. I would pay for every last one of you to come and party with us. You know, originally it was going to be bend over and kiss your ass goodbye party. And then I had to stop that, of course, because we want people to come. And it's not a doomer party. It's a celebratory party. My husband, he lived, you know, through 2 major events. But with what we're seeing in the Arctic and the methane and the atmosphere, and now with Hurricane Beryl going towards China and fires in California, what do we expect? However, I do really work on positive mindset today, and not, drug-induced positive mindset. I'm talking about positive mindset by inspirational people to listen to and talk to, and the friends I have online, and the friends I have in real life who are here that have come to visit me, that are staying at my camp, my girlfriends that love me too, and I love them. But, you know, it is what it is, right? We can do what we can do. And there's an article, another one, no children because of climate change? Some people are considering it. And that was another one that was posted on our page by Jonathan O., who is a teammate who is absolutely wonderful. Jonathan, this is a shout out to you. I'm very happy to have you. And Antonio Reed, this is a shout out to you. I'm really happy with the team. You know, I shout out, but I never said their names. And these two are really fantastic. We're probably going to do a live with Antonio, so you get to meet him. We're also going to be doing a live with Stuart Scott, Jennifer Hines, and one other who I'm working on. I'm not going to say yet. But we've got some really good stuff coming up. Now, this article I sent to my daughter, no children because of climate change, people are considering it. My daughter's going to be 30. She used to tell me, Mom, I'm not a breeder. She's in love. For her 30th birthday, they're going to Eastern Europe and trekking around Europe. God bless her, let her do it. You know, what can I say? Except give her money to help because I'm mom. This article is the last one I'm going to go over. So add this to the list of decisions affected by climate change. Should I have children? It is not an easy time for people to feel hopeful, with the effects of global warming no longer theoretical. Projections becoming more dire and governmental action lagging. That's the biggest thing, governmental action lagging. That's our responsibility to rise up and make the government do something. However, we have to do it. Of course, I can't run out in the street with a pitchfork. A 32-year-old who always thought she would have children can no longer justify it to herself. A Mormon has bucked the expectations of her religion by resolving to adopt rather than give birth. An Ohio woman has had her first child after an unplanned pregnancy and then had a second because she did not want her daughter to face an environmental collapse alone. Among them, there is a sense of being saddled with painful ethical questions that previous generations did not have to confront. I didn't in 1988. I had one kid, but I knew. And I barely had her, but she's going to be 30. Among them, there is a sense of being saddled with painful ethical questions that previous generations didn't have to confront. Some worry about the quality of life children born today will have as shorelines flood, wildfires rage, and extreme weather becomes more common. So hot. Others are acutely aware that a child is one of the costliest actions. Give me a break here. Ooh, I'm taking this off. It's all good, as long as I don't pull my headset out. All right. Others are acutely aware that it's costly. Okay. They can The birth rate in the United States, which has been falling for a decade, reached a new low in 2016. Economic insecurity has been a major factor, but even as the economy recovers, the decline in births continue. And the discussions about the role of climate change only are intensifying. When we first started this project, I didn't know anybody who had any conversations about this, said Megan Kallman, co-founder of Conceivable Future, an organization that highlights how climate change is limiting reproductive choices. That has changed, she said, either because more people are having doubts or because it's become less taboo to talk about them. In 1 year, it's become less taboo to talk about this for me. A year ago, when I had Hambone Littletail on my channel, or maybe it's a year and a half, and he went into his diatribe about overpopulation, people freaked out and said, oh my God, that's only because the elite and have a depopulation agenda, yada, yada, yada. It's a load of crap, in my opinion. The earth can only take what she can take. And the more people, the more habitat loss. Everywhere. And we lose carbon sinks, which take the shit out of the air that 100,000 flights all over the world put in. And I'm not talking chemtrails, folks. I'm talking scientific fact of what's going on in our skies just by flying, like my daughter's going to do when she goes to Europe. If it weren't for climate change, Allison Guy said, she would go off birth control tomorrow. But scientists' projections, if rapid action isn't taken, are not congruent with a stable society, said Miss Guy, 32. My daughter's going to be 30, who works at a marine conservation nonprofit in Washington. I don't want to give birth to a kid wondering if it's going to live in some kind of Mad Max dystopia. Parents like Amanda Perry Miller, a Christian youth leader and a mother of two from Independence, Ohio, shares her fears. Animals are disappearing. The oceans are full of plastic. The human population is so numerous the planet may not be able to support it indefinitely. What do I always say? This doesn't paint a very pretty picture for people bringing home a brand new baby from the hospital. The people thinking about these issues fit no single profile. They are women and men, liberal, conservative. They come from many regions and religions. So to end this today, so I don't go too long, everything's on our page. I'm glad you joined me for my rant, because basically this is a rant. I got a lot of things on my mind. Healing, yes, is one of them. And I am going to heal because I am doing okay. The doctor said, you know what, Sand, maybe you better just not do as much as you're doing. And I always do a lot because I can't help it. It's very hard for me not to. And I have 5 cats, you know. And yes, my husband's doing what he does, but he doesn't like empty. And I don't empty cat litter boxes. I scoop them. A little tidbit of information that you don't really have to know. But with all these issues, the most troubling to me, really the most troubling to me, is our atmosphere. What's going on in the Arctic, the heat in Siberia, the weather. I implore you to follow the Arctic Sea Ice page, to follow Nicholas Humphrey, his website, to follow Paul Beckwith, to follow Margot's Healing Corner, to follow Jim Massa on YouTube, to follow all of these scientists that follow Humpty Dumpty Tribe, follow Vegematic, follow the scientists and the commentators who are telling us about things, but there's also a lot of people telling us that there are solutions. They're going to be in the short term, but they can make our lives better around us, you know, around us. They can make our lives better just around us, because that's really what you can do. That's all you can do in your communities. And if you don't choose to do anything, I don't want to hear you whining. And most of the people that follow me are activist-minded and do a lot of things that are helping their local environment, and I applaud you. So for today, I thank you so much. I wanted to try to keep this to a minimum. I don't know how long I've been on, but so much is happening. And I want to say hi to Donna Salerno. Hi, thank you for joining. And June's with us, and it's been good. And you know, I do feel a lot better. And my clueless freaking moron idiot neighbor way in the back there with his 40 acres and a mule, stop shooting. I told my husband this morning, I want to go outside and do a live stream. Do I have to worry about this asshole shooting me? Jesus Cripes. Michael Fagerquist, we need to get rid of the current government. Of course we do, but are we going to? If we sit and whine, I'm good at that, but I do something, and when I heal, I'm going to be right back in the saddle again with my local environmental group, with my local political people, because I'll be damned if I could sit back and watch this collapse and apocalypse come without knowing that I have had the blindfolds off me and I'm going to go head on into it, whatever it brings. I have no fear. The fear I have is for our children. I do fear for our children. And when I think of the clusterfuck that's about to come in our environment, and excuse my language today, it's just the way it is, it scares me for our children and their children. And the most, what can we do? Teach them to plant, teach them to work with their hands, teach them how to survive in the wilderness, teach them how to survive with electricity. The school districts all have to be revamped to give those kinds of courses to our children, but they won't do it with a Betsy DeVos in the United States. Oh, cheers to Mexico for their progressive election. Cheers to Ocasio-Cortez in New York City. Yes, maybe little by little there'll be changes. Maybe Mexico could be a wave for the world, because I don't like the way the world is going to the right. Fascism abounds. And with that happy note, I'm going to go see my friends who are over there somewhere with my husband. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. I love you all. Thank you so much for coming. Share if you can. Peace. Mwah.